3 seconds on the clock.
Mr. Chairman, you're on.
Good evening. Welcome to the March meeting of the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners. As is our custom, we will rise to say the Pledge of Allegiance and invite anyone who wishes to join us. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. First order of business, we have two sets of minutes. Could I have a motion on 24004?
So moved.
Moved, is there a second? Moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
On 24005, could I have a motion,
So
please?
moved.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Informational reports, the Regional Communications newsletter for the third and fourth quarter.
No action necessary.
No action, we will just receive that with our thanks. Comments from the public, anyone who wishes to speak? Seeing none, thank you very much. We have a consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve
So moved.
items, okay, and I will just read these off. 2414, 2415, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 28. Says, any member of the board wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, we'll now call a vote for passage of those items. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. The ARPA business, we have a couple of items. And Mr. Manager, we'll start with you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
As you, 24020 is an amend the Landry French construction manager contract dated August 14, 2023 for the jail medical expansion. As you remember back in the summer of 2023, when we brought you forth Landry French as our construction manager, we did not bring forth at that time a price for the construction. It was solely as a construction manager status, and that the process would be that staff and Landry French would work together over the next X months in working to a GMP proposal, which is now I'm gonna forget, gross maximum price, or is it gross maximum price? All right.
Go with it.
Go with it. And so we have received that number. It is in the proposal is in your packets, and it looks as though it's approximately about $7.7 million for construction. That is Landry French's portion of their constructing the addition onto the jail, which the addition being for the medical wing. And so what we are bringing forth this evening is an amending of the original awarded bid to Landry French to recognize the GMP for the project of 7.7 mil, and so that we can move forward with executing contracts and begin construction. I know Landry French is eager to get a fork in the ground here in the next 30 to 45 days, and this will be the beginning stages of construction being started. I'd like to ask Bill Trufant, Facilities Director, to come up and give us any insight of what I may have missed as part of this project, since he is willing to stick around this evening to participate in tonight's meeting.
Bill, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we're really excited, actually. This has been a lot of hard work for our staff, Landry French. I think we're in a good position to be able to get this going as long as this is approved. Landry French is looking to hit the ground by the end of April, as long as all the contracts are in place, and they're guessing that it will be a one-year project timeline from basically groundbreaking to opening. But other than that, we're ready to roll, and I know with speaking with the sheriff and the major, it's definitely a welcome addition, and it's very much needed. So there's any
Familiar
other
with that?
questions.
Yes, thanks.
Okay.
Great. Any questions for either Bill or the manager?
I have a question for Jim. Just to refresh our recollection, the budgeted amount initially in ARPA money was significantly higher than the 7.7, but we are anticipating additional expenses in terms of equipment and outfitting, et cetera.
Yes.
Do you,
So we have stripped the HVAC project out of this. This 7.6 million does not include the HVAC units.
That, it actually does.
It does.
It does. So it includes the air handlers for the rest of jail. That way, the rest of the jail facility meets the air quality that is with a MERV style filter that helps with, you know, any airborne diseases that may happen in the future. What it does not include is the retrofit of the existing medical, which I think in terms of the original discussion will become more of a mental health base facility, but I think that's to be discussed further once this project goes. That number does not include the furniture that goes in it, the medical, you know, dental chairs, the medical beds that go into the negative pressure pods, computers, what have, all the other widgets that go to make that operational. It's basically, we'll move in our equipment once they are done, and we'll work hand in hand with them to do so. So the number does not include owner responsibility.
And there's also architecture fees.
Absolutely.
And things like that on the
Yep,
outside,
absolutely.
too.
Yep.
do we anticipate that it will be within that 12 million?
I think it wasn't 12. I think we had up to upwards of 9 million
Was it 9? Okay.
earmarked for this.
Very good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
The answer is so
Anyone
far
else?
yes,
Yes.
but keeping a really close eye on it, because this is super important.
Okay,
And just for clarification, GMP is not gross maximum price, it's guaranteed maximum price.
Yeah.
I was having a brain cramp. I knew Alex and I have been talking about gross domestic product about on this for the last 2 weeks, so trying to figure it out.
guarantees being what they are in the construction world, yes, they, subject to amendment sometimes.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Anything else? All right, can I have a motion on this item, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. And how about 2421, with our thanks and authorization to now disband our advisory committee, who's done such a great job over the last couple of years with the opera monies that were made available to us for projects within the county.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none again, with our thanks, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. New business. The first item is 2422, authorizing the manager to enter into a contract amendment between the county and Sentinel Offender Services for location-based monitoring services on an as-needed basis for an indefinite duration. Mr. Manager.
I'm going to ask Jen Annis to come up and present this. I'll give a little bit of a background. We are bringing this contract before you on the sole reason that staff do not have the authority to sign onto this contract without commissioner approval, largely because the liability language within the contract does not meet our current standards. And so with that setting the stage, I'll pass it off to Jen, and she can give you kind of like a synopsis of the conversations she's been having with this vendor for the last 2 or 3 months.
Great, thank you. So the Violence Intervention Partnership, part of our coordinated community response has been this electronic monitoring and victim notification program that we've had, otherwise known as ELMO. The project went in place in 2015, and the contract has been pretty much the same. It was re-signed in 2022. The reason that we were looking at a new contract is because there's a new service that they're providing and some new software. So we were going to update to get the new service and the new software. And then as we were looking through the contract, noticed the limitation of damages, and I outlined it for you on sections 117, 8.2, and 8.3, but I think it's 8.3 was the one that you might want to look at. We were able to talk with them and remove the section that was regarding attorney's fees, but that was the only negotiation. They stated that this is part of their standard contract to continue with the contract that we have in place. When someone goes on electronic monitoring, they have to be ordered by a judge to get on it. Maine Pretrial, who helps to implement the program, does the screening and the oversight of the program, and they use risk assessment to determine whether or not someone's actually eligible for the program, and they do screen out people that they don't feel like have any chance of being successful on the program. And it's limited to about 5 people, which is their maximum capacity. So it is a limited number of people, and the advantage for the new program and the new software, the new app, will be that victims, instead of having to carry the clunky device, right now they have to carry the same device that the offender has to carry. So if they want to participate, they can use an app that downloads to their phone. Rather than having the device and their cell phone, they can just have one thing, which is their cell phone with an app, which is much nicer, and it's also a decreased cost to us. However, the cost of the county wasn't that great anyway because of the low numbers. We, on average year, pay about $3,200 to, and this is just to support the victims. We just pay for the victims who are carrying the devices. Offenders have a sliding scale that they have to pay for their own devices, so it wouldn't be to cover any of their costs, which you may know from the past contracts that we've had. But that's sort of an overview of the program. The new section is G and H, and that's the only new section, but the rest of the contract is the same as the contract we're under currently.
Any questions?
Is that the only part to the upgrade that you just expressed?
The only part to the upgrade is G and H, which is the allowing victims to have the opportunity to put it on a phone instead of carry the device. That's the only change. And, there is support for it from survivors who've used it before. One of the survivors back in 2017 testified in front of the legislature to expand electronic monitoring statewide, and she had reported that if she didn't carry the device, that she wouldn't have had the opportunity to call 911. She, at the time, was carrying the clunky device along with her cell phone. She had her cell phone next to her when he approached the window, but she said that she was paralyzed with fear and literally could not call 911 herself. But the device notified law enforcement that he was right next to her window, and law enforcement was able to respond and make the arrest. And she said, had she not had the device, that she would not be here today. So that's the reason we want to continue the program if possible. But recognizing that it may not meet your criteria.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion then to pass 2422.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. 2423, authorization to award the bid for parking garage restoration contract between Cumberland County and Krisha Construction for services amounting to cost of $457,275. Mr. Manager.
Thank you. This is authorizing myself to assign an award of bid for Krisha Construction Services. They're out of Massachusetts. We had sent out a bid for a scope of services on reconstruction or rehabilitation, I should say, of our parking garage. Bill, the facilities director, had done a 5-year master plan of what was needed to be done to the parking garage, and he's taken year 1 and moving it forward to the scope of services for this contract. It is in the amount of $457,000, which, if the commissioners remember, last year we proposed a bond, that this project was within that bond. I'd like to invite Bill up to the microphone again, just to talk over what the scope of services under this contract would be, and maybe the time frame that it's going to be done.
All right, well, the work, obviously, as the manager said, was based off a 5-year conditional assessment ranking high-level items year 1 to low-level items that are more cosmetic in year 5. So the 457 that was quoted, or is provided in the proposal, was year 1, which are, higher-end items that, to make the structure more longevity, to extend it. So that's where we're at. It's nothing wrong with the structure. It's nothing. It's just, let's make this, provide more useful service for a longer period of time. In doing so, the prices, as it was sent ahead, was a large array due to the amount of work that a lot of these contractors already had and the timing in which we wanted to get this project done. Our garage is full Monday through Friday, pretty much year-round. We have monthly pass holders that are, law firms. We have the state that we share the garage with. We have our own employees who use it. So we have a very short window. We're basically asking them to start May 1st, or as the temperature allows, due to the fact that it's concrete, we really can't do a lot of that type of work in below 45 or 50-degree temperatures for it to really work, and have it done before Labor Day. So we're really trying to get this work done, and unfortunately, doing so, we're not allowing a lot of our summer seasonal rentals to come in, so that way we have full access to more spaces to get this done in an expedited fashion. So in that's why the numbers were a huge difference from, $500,000 basically to almost $1 million. There were 5 great, proposals that were sent in. It's just, when in meeting with Creature Construction, they're fantastic. They come highly recommended. They've done a lot of work throughout New England, Baltimore, DC. They've been all over the place, and they've done a lot of work on these type of garages where they're basically cast in play. So I feel very confident that they can get it done, and we'll be setting up a staging plan within the next 3 weeks to get this ball rolling so we can get moving on it.
So, any questions? Patty?
Thank you for the information.
Yeah.
I'm glad to get we had 5 really good bids. Just curious, as we vacate people out for the summer to do the work, which is never a good time to do work
Yeah.
like this, I understand.
Yeah.
What kind of revenue loss are we looking at, or are the summer folks that normally do them in, will they, I guess they have a choice to come back. We hope they'll come back to us, but what's the revenue loss look like?
So the sheer number, I would have to ask Alex as far as that. We have alerted them a year ago.
Okay.
I gave them a year notice that we were working on this, so that way it gave them ample time to potentially find additional parking, knowing that, hey, listen, once we're done, please come back. It's not like we're closing for good. We're always open. We're like, we want you to come back. So they are aware. If we do work during the week, the summer seasonals will be affected, but it's going to be the daily parkers, the parking people that come in for court or for, general, if they just want to go downtown, for the, paying a reduced rate to park in the old port, so to speak. I have negotiated with them that a lot of this work can be done on weekends when 3 of the 5 floors are empty. So a lot of the work will be done, say, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that way we can minimize the impact on the Monday through Friday. The largest part is the entire 5th floor has to be done. And we have to shut the entire 5th floor down, which means any parking spots directly below it cannot be used as well. So to do that, we have to start basically the end of business on Friday and have it open, basically 8 PM on a Sunday to be able to open on a Monday for business in the downtown area, so. But the number of revenue loss, I would have to lean on Alex and Teresa for that.
Yeah, I mean, it could end up being a pretty significant number just because we're hitting that period of time. A good example, July of last year had, $100,000 in daily parking, give or take, last year. The hard part here is that number is really highly dependent on the jury duty coming and going on any given month. So even then, it tends to be a pretty fluctuating number.
Is
But
100,000 the highest, do you think, or is that the median?
oh, that'll definitely be the highest because that's higher than in prior years when we were more reliant on monthly parkers. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for the logistics.
No problem.
Anything else?
I had the same question Patty did,
Yeah.
so I'm fine.
Anything?
No.
So do I have a motion, please, then, for 24-23?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? There are none. It's unanimous. Thank you very much again. 24-24, approving the general fund budget for the jail and cross arena as well. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Move passage by Commissioner Gordon, seconded by Commissioner Jameson. We've had a workshop and presentation, and we have received the work of the Finance Committee related to all of this. So I would ask the manager, Mr. Cayley, or Ms. Grover, if there are any additional comments related to this? Changes, alterations, major issues? Anything from the commission concerning the budget?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for, the hard work, that they did on the budget, this year, because it was a hard, budget. I am not going to support with the budget for the fact being that there's an area that I think, and it's in the sheriff's office regarding our cars. I have been trying to get our discussion on this since 2019, and there really hasn't been a good discussion. And we did have some discussion on it this year when we, we talked about, the amount of cars, that we buy each year. And I think it's time that we stop and will look into all these purchases of cars, because at our level, when we our purchase of cars, we always don't know where these cars are going. We don't know if they're all going to patrol, or if some of them are going to with detectives and all of that. And I think it's time that the future board, because I won't be here for another discussion on other budget, but it's been something that's been very passionate to me since 2019 regarding the car. And I can honestly say, when I'm going through with some papers, I found it that on February of 2019, that there was a discussion that I brought up regarding with cars, and it wasn't long after that it became very apparent, to me that it wasn't going to go anywhere. So at that point, I decided that I will not support it with the budget, for that reason. But I support it, the rest of the budget. But I will be voting no on with this year's budget for those reasons.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Pat Smith?
I want to thank the Finance Committee. They met several times over the budgeting season to ask really good questions, and I think, it's important to remember that As a county, we support so many different towns, and it's really good to hear the perspective of municipalities, select people, council people, to find out, where's their bang for the buck, and I think it was a really good process. I think the county employees did a good job of supplying great information, background information. If something was unanswerable at the moment, they came back and gave us the answer at the next meeting, which I really appreciate the transparency in that. So I think overall it was a really great budget process for us this year. I am going to echo my fellow Commissioner Ratanas' comments around the sheriff's budget and the actual need for cars, the wants or the needs of cars. Certainly, I'm interested in following through on that as well. And I'm actually hoping that some of my co-commissioners would be willing to entertain a workshop and maybe come up with some language where we would limit the amount of cars per year, with obviously the right amount of information, research to be done, several years' information, so that we understand what really is necessary in terms of vehicles for employees and how they use those vehicles. So I think that's an area of focus and attention for myself going forward. And, if it gets to the point, I'll be happy to deny a budget because I feel like we're not getting the answers we need. But this evening, I'm going to support the budget for all the right reasons, but I will be looking for that next year. Just want to let folks know that in advance. Thank you.
Further comments? Before I call a vote, I do have a comment about Commissioner Watonas's ongoing, actually, dissatisfaction with this. This is not the first year that she's mentioned this, and I think the rest of the commission acknowledges, understands, and has at least some intention that we're going to want to look at a wider set of questions having to do with the sheriff's department. And it's no secret that the personnel situation has been in crisis for many months, although much better now that our department head at HR, Ms. Jennings, has been able to work some magic to make it come better, but it is tenuous still, and we all know that. We all have our own opinions about how that process at the sheriff's office has proceeded, and we have other issues. And so I think I can disclose without danger of giving great offense that Mr. Gordon and I have discussed, at least preliminarily, what we might be able to do in coming weeks and months to try to grapple with a lot of these issues. And any further questions, any further discussion? Seeing none?
Jim, maybe, and I'm sorry to
Go ahead.
not, I think the remark has been made to have a workshop. I think we're all in concert with that. And it's not too far in the future before we start on the next budget. So perhaps we should have a workshop prior to that and have the administrative staff develop it.
I think that's certainly a possibility for us. Okay, any further comments? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. The budget passes 4-1. Commissioner Watonis opposed. Order 2425, authorizing the cost of living adjustment for elected officials and sheriff appointments. This matches the adjustments made for other employees, but it's the responsibility of the commission to set these particular compensation arrangements. And so do I have a motion on 2425, please?
So move.
Moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Jameson. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously. We had we have before the commission, 2426, to adjust the probate judge's salary in the amount of $2,000 effective March 25th, 2024. Some on the, we'll see on the agenda 23, but that,
If you could just make a motion to make sure that it's March 25th, 2024.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
okay. So first, can I have a motion to pass this item?
Make a motion that we pass the item as amended.
We have to,
Right.
okay. It's been moved and seconded, moved by Commissioner Gordon, seconded by Commissioner Jameson, that the 2426 shall read, adjust the probate salary by 2,000 effective March 2024.
So we're just, how we're voting on, with the date right now, correct? Or the whole thing?
Whole thing.
We'll vote on the whole thing, and,
You should
Well,
vote for the amendment first.
We have to vote for
and
the
then
amendment
main motion
first,
well,
as
okay.
amended.
yeah.
All right, well, that's right. All right, go ahead. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. All right, the main motion then is, as amended, has been moved and seconded by Commissioner Gordon and seconded by Commissioner Jameson. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
This is,
opposed?
this is on the,
Main
I would-
motion on the $2,000 raise.
okay. I'm nay.
4-1, which one is opposed? Passes. And final item, 2429, authorization of the manager to enter an agreement with the Oxford County Jail for Cumberland County Jail to house 10 residents for a daily board rate of $85 a day, beginning in April for 1 year to March 2025. Mr. Manager, somebody
Yes,
here?
this item was first brought to you in February, asking you to authorize the allowance of negotiating this contract with Oxford County. Oxford County is going through some internal renovations up at their jail. I think it's HVAC work that's going to put a few pods out of commission for a while. They originally talked about a 6-month window of opportunity here. The contract gives a 1-year window, up to 10 inmates. I do know in conversations with the major this morning that currently we have about 4 to 5 inmates in our jail. York County is taking on a load of inmates that they have around 20 inmates at their jail. And so this item is before you this evening to approve this 1-year contract. I would ask that we would make this effective March 1st, 2024, instead of April 1st, as we have had your Oxford County inmates in the facility for the first 2 weeks of March, and we should be compensated for that under this contract. So I ask for your approval of this contract and placing it effective date of March 1st, 2024. Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like a motion then, please, on it as written, and then we will amend it to change the date. Can I have a motion to approve 2429? Moved by Commissioner Gordon, seconded by Commissioner Jameson. Now I entertain an amendment to change the date to, is that going to be through February 2025, or is March fine? That would make it a 13-month.
March 1st, 2024 through April 1st, 2025 is fine, but
Okay.
I think we just need to back it up 2 weeks.
So can we have an amendment, please, moved to change the start date to March 1st, 2024? So moved by Commissioner Jameson, seconded by Commissioner Gordon. Any discussion on this item? Commissioner Smith?
Yeah, so I just want to, I don't know if this is the appropriate discussion or the main motion discussion, but here's a prime example right here where I think it's great that we're working county to county. I think, a lot of times the jail systems work with one another, and I think being a good neighbor to other jails and vice versa, we may need help at times. So I really appreciate the collaborative effort of all the jail systems, Oxford, York, and Cumberland. I think that's wonderful. I just want to make a comment that we knew there was negotiations in place, and I know sometimes negotiations are weird with their timing, but once again, something is before us, and we've got to back up a date. We've already had these inmates in our jail since March 1st. It would be nice if it was, I guess, if it lined up a little bit better with people coming in for us to approve this matter before people came into the jail. But again, I guess it's a matter of working with all the parties to make sure that we're in the loop, that we sign off for what we say we're signing off for, and that, something wouldn't come back to harm us in the other side. So just want to put it out there. I'm not really sure. Maybe, County Manager, do you have something to say about the 2-week gap?
No, when we received this, as you're aware, that this, the agenda was amended to include this. And I felt as though, with the knowledge for the last week that we had Oxford inmates, I felt as though, one, we needed to get this contract on now, if it was ready, instead of waiting until, what's our next meeting, April 8th? And that would have been even more in the rears. And so that's why I did the push to amend the agenda to get this on. But in reading and seeing the April 1st start date, and knowing that we've had 4 to 5 inmates in our jail, I questioned the sheriff and the jail major why we aren't backing this up. And the sheriff agreed to back it up to the March 1st date. And so that's why I brought this forward to you this evening.
Well, I appreciate that you have your eyes on the ball, and I appreciate the transparency that we are having this come before us, even though our folks who started March 1st. But again, I'm grateful that you're watching and that you're watching over our dollars for those 2 weeks where things are happening. So, thank you.
Do we want to ask if the deputy chief has any comments? Or?
Do you have any comments to share, please?
Probably not anything more than the county manager was able to present. We do work with the other counties very well when it comes to inmates, and 4 inmates usually are at our jail from Oxford County anyway, for either just moving inmates around, kind of the horse trading that goes on with disciplinary problems or things like that, people who need special medical attention or things like that. So it has been underway for a few days now. The important things with the contract is Oxford County will be taking care of transports. They're sending personnel down to the jail to handle the video appearances, and any hospital stays or any kind of medical appointments are being handled by Oxford County personnel.
Good.
So we're just maintaining custody at the jail, but any of the kind of the extras, they have the manpower and the resources to handle that for us. So it's a good number. It's not going to break our backs staffing wise, and happy to help out.
Great, thank you. Anything else? Could I have a motion, could I have a vote, please, then, first on the amendment? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So as amended now, could we have a vote, any further comments on the main motion? Seeing none, all those, we'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. So that concludes the matters for passage this evening. So let's go with, ask the county manager for comments.
I had a list of about 3 items sitting on my desk right now that I wanted to share, so I'm going to have to pass this evening, and I'll share them on April 8th.
All right. Well, the deputy manager then, Mr. Kimball.
Oh, I actually stole your notes.
Oh, perfect. Let it rip.
I'll just make the comment, you've seen the last of Sandy Warren with regard to the committee, but the next 6 to 9 months are gonna get real exciting in terms of spending down ARPA dollars, working with the various sub-recipients to get that money spent, but also our very large internal projects, 27 Northport, the jail. We also have a bond issuance where a lot of that work's gonna start getting done, so we'll be seeing us spending these planned dollars over the summer into the fall, really like never before. This is going to be once in a generation amounts going out, so going to be very interesting and very exciting results.
Great, thank you. Finance, Teresa.
finance office continues to be very busy, and the fraud attempts have increased dramatically over the last month, I would say. So we're really being cautious with any requests on direct deposits or any personal information out of our office at this time, and I don't see that changing anytime in the future either, so.
That's different, huh? Yeah. And HR, Amy?
Delighted to let you know that 10 new candidates are going to the Correction Officers Academy this month.
That's
Oh,
great.
right.
And then that's the highest class that we've had.
Yeah.
I credit, of course, Mary and Tom from the HR department, but also the sheriff's office and the representatives who are part of this process to really push these people through. In addition to that, we have found a resource to outsource background checks. And so we'll be starting that April 1st. Signed a contract and worked with Captain Ackerman and Lieutenant Foss, and we have a whole system. So we'll see how the system works, but it's a step forward. So pleased about that as well.
Great. So, comments from the commissioners. Commissioner Smith?
I don't have any comments to share. Happy to hear the news that's happening in the county, and just so glad that our cities aren't like spring break cities. No one wants to come to Maine for spring break, which is good.
Yeah.
They'll come here in the summer, I'm sure. We'll have our own kind of party going on, but grateful that we live here in Maine and keeping it simple. That's all. Thank you.
Commissioner Watonis?
No, I'm all set.
Commissioner Jameson?
Yeah, just a few points. Would echo Commissioner Smith in saying that we are fortunate to have a county that's run in an excellent manner. I'd specifically say, again, congratulations to the county manager, deputy manager, to finance department, HR, for putting together really an amazing budget and a very tight economic year for the county. And it goes to show, again, once again, that we have top-notch level people working for us and squeezing pennies, but also being creative, finding different sources of funding and changing the way we fund projects. And I think it's just another compliment to the hard work the executive staff has done, so thank you very much. Want to wish all the people out there a happy Easter, happy Passover, and enjoy whatever celebration you may have next weekend. And for those people who are basketball fans, the NCAA tournament starts Thursday. Thanks.
No sleep.
Commissioner Gordon?
Starts tonight, doesn't it?
Some of the prelim games.
Thank you, Commissioner. I too would like to congratulate the staff about the budget. I think it's wonderful. But what it's bringing up is a couple of issues that we need to flush out, and one of them Commissioner Watonis has brought forth was the issue of the cars and what kind of a strategy we have to operate that, figure their costs, et cetera. I think that needs to be discussed as part of an ongoing discussion about the jail. The other thing about the jail, with this cost of $85 per day to Oxford County, I think we need to determine what our actual boarding costs are. At some point, we're going to be, and I believe the state has got to face the music about what the actual cost of boarding a prisoner is, given all the mandates that are being put upon the jails and without the accompanying funding coming from the state, because the counties are going to have to pick that up through the property tax. With that, I will turn it back to the chairman.
Well, picking up on that observation, there is the ancient and wise saying that no citizen's life, liberty, or property are safe while the legislature is in session. So that's been mentioned by many over the years. I don't think I could end the meeting without again making known our sincere thanks for the work of the Opera Committee that really guided us through the tumultuous time. And frankly, the work of the staff as well, at times walking around in the caverns of the county courthouse virtually alone, at times turning the Civic Center bowl space into a hospital. It was a very challenging and trying time, and one with an uncertain outcome that ended up being better than it needed to be, or could expect to be, because of the work and the foresight and the ingenuity of the staff especially. I want to invite our friend from the Sheriff's Department, if he has any comments to share with us before we adjourn.
No, it was great to be part of the budget process. I know it's always kind of a complex moving target, a lot of different parts and things like that, but we are making great progress with hiring. In addition to what Ms. Jennings said about the 10, we actually have an 11th who's already certified from another state, who's an experienced corrections officer, so has already started his FTO program, so that's 11. So we are clawing back. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And on the law enforcement side, we're doing very well. We're nearly at capacity. So it looks like we'll be there probably in a month and a half. So very excited about that.
For people that don't tune in every month, that is something that we haven't been able to appreciate for literally a number of years now. So it's great. I now would entertain, related to 24-27, the next and final item of the evening, to enter into an executive session pursuant to Title I, Section 4056D, for the discussion of contract issues related to the cross-insurance arena. Do I have a motion? Moved by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Gordon. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. We are now in executive session.